Rifle squad ready for action.
Welcome to a 1v1 on Colony Fairmont Summer. This game is Paul versus Giap. Wow! Rifle company selected. I am baffled and astounded. Just kidding. That was sarcasm. That's exactly what I was expecting to happen. Paul has selected rifle company. He's probably going to be trying to overwhelm Giap with a very aggressive rifle flamethrower build. His infantry-based flamethrowers have been changed back to the way they worked before. They're just a really good anti-infantry upgrade. They don't do the flame pool thing anymore. You can no longer hurt yourself with infantry-based flamethrowers, or at least not as easily by accident, by firing a burst of flames and then walking forward into your own flames. The rifle company has probably been buffed, and let's see how it goes. First squad of vetted riflemen coming on the field, and his opponent Giap is going to be going with an early MG42. Oh, he will get the suppression, but I think that rifle squad has gotten clear. He's got access to mechanized assault, close air support, and assault support, so that is a loadout straight from 3 months ago. Curious to see what he's going to do. Close air support seems to have kind of maybe fallen out of favor a little bit. That was the go-to commander against rifle company in the past, so we may be seeing bit of an old school matchup this game. Pilots forced to retreat from those riflemen, and these rear echelon troops are going to start getting control of territory here in the north. Grenadiers making their way towards the center will be on the flank of these riflemen. Some pretty heated engagements in the early game, and Paul is going to fall behind. Forced to retreat once already, taken 2 losses. Giap is going to be off to a nice early small lead. And he's going to start setting up a coordinated defense that is moving away from the cutoff and fuel and over here towards the left side VP. Paul is keeping his rifleman in this green cover position where Giap does have vision of him, but I don't think Paul has vision of his opponent there in return, unless he does that thing where you check buildings, which I don't know why he would do that though. That building is close to his base and probably not his primary concern. Trying to think about how he's going to get some harassment of the cutoff or fuel point done.
We have a fresh Grenadier squad.
4 squads of riflemen out now to Giap's 4 squads of grenadiers, and it looks like he will maintain pretty full control of the battlefield. This squad should be able to do decent damage before being forced away. Support is on the way as well. 1 squad of riflemen falling low and forced to retreat, and a fresh squad of grenadiers arrives to relieve this one so they can head back to do backcapping rather than engaging at low health. Meanwhile, these 2 squads going very deep towards the south, trying to set up a flank on his MG42 or avoid engaging it entirely. Giap not moving to respond against that in any way as he continues to manage very aggressive maneuvers with his grenadiers on the front line, trying to cut off Paul's fuel. Wonder how many riflemen Paul will get. It looks like just 4 before transitioning to captain, getting out a Stuart. I think. I hesitate to say that Paul will get a Stuart. I have no idea if he's going to get a Stuart. I know historically he's been a fan of the pack howitzer this game. He could get anything.
Just took the battlefield.
Don't think he's going to get an AT gun out. He's going to get a Stuart or a pack howitzer, or maybe just more riflemen. I think all of those things could make sense. Grenadiers continue to trade quite well against riflemen at long range, and with build and control, Paul is going to take quite a while to get to flamethrowers. Because he's not a 3 CPs, he cannot punish this in any way. He just has to try to deal with it. Flamethrower has set up in green cover right here to counter any advance by Paul's riflemen in the south, which they are not moving. They're just guarding this point, and I think that would have been a good idea maybe, but Pyos with their longer vision range see the riflemen before they ever see the Pyos, so they know that advancing over that red cover would be a mistake. Paul continues to just hold the line here in green cover in the south. He does have probably the strategic point advantage, holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strategic points to his opponent's 3. So even though he can't break through the defensive line, and even though he may not have been trading very well, he has pretty good income right now, and he will utilize that to get a Stuart out and maybe make something happen with that. In particular, pressure his opponent out of his cutoff house. And he may also be able to use the Stuart to accelerate his XP and try and get flamethrowers a little bit faster. He could use his captain to supervise the Stuart. Instead, he's not doing that. Could have gotten that out a little faster doing that. Oh well. Instead, he's gonna hang out in green cover, protecting his cutoff. Going to blob his way towards the house right here and try and force these grenadiers out of the house, which may be expensive to do, but he has superior numbers here and should be able to finally win this engagement, get control of this area back. And this will be in conjunction with his Stuart arriving to the battlefield, so he's softening up these forces. Not watching his Minesweeper though, and it does get wiped. Stuart just a little too late to pick up this wipe. Ooh, they're very clumped. Maybe. No, they spread out. They'll be fine. But without an MG42 to help with this engagement, Paul's blobbing goes unpunished, and he will force everything away from the center. And that captain picks up a ridiculous bazooka snipe right there to add insult to injury. Stuart is on its way towards the north to chase away that squad of grenadiers, and these forces will make their way towards the cutoff. MG42 is set up and ready for this advance. That will force this retreat easily enough. No smoke grenades tech from Paul yet, and he will probably want to be conserving all munitions for flamethrower upgrades anyway. He needs 240 munitions, I think, to fully equip all of his riflemen. He's very close to that. And Stuart has secured control of the north for Paul. There's an ambulance out. He's healing up right here in the middle of the map. Important, I guess, to point out the new functionality of the ambulance. You can toggle its healing on and off at any time. It has no cooldown or anything. You can just activate it, so that makes it a slightly more something, I don't know. Slightly more what? Slightly more accessible? Slightly more good? This is kind of a minor tweak to the way the ambulance works, and it's to discourage blobbing, actually, so that you don't have to heal all of your infantry at once and then advance back out onto the battlefield. You can heal your squads one at a time, and there's no overhead associated with that, so it's a good change. Makes it more tactical, sure. I'll go with that. Flamethrower is available to Paul now, and he will upgrade all of his riflemen with them. Stuart misses its shot, maybe the only reason that Grenadier squad gets away right there. A T-gun moves up to put pressure on the Stuart, and it needs repairs to its engine. Grenadier setting up in green cover right here. Should win against Riflemen if they don't research smoke grenades as a way to close into short range and get flamethrower damage against those squads in cover. MG42 is protecting the munitions here and may force Paul to retreat once again. This is a fresh Minesweeper squad, his other one got wiped. Bit of manpower expenditure to replace that. He just queued up a second Stuart but canceled. He's like, no, that's too much. And he's gonna go major next. Riflemen moving up into green cover positions. They may be able to overwhelm this position. They don't necessarily have to push towards the cutoff, but it could help. It'd be a risk-reward kind of scenario. He does have a triple cap going. As US forces, it can be okay to just set up a triple cap and try and prevent recapture rather than advancing super aggressively and setting up cutoffs. You have to judge for yourself whether or not your push will succeed. Because if you attack and get pushed and get forced to retreat, you may lose more map control than if you had just kind of held an aggressive triple cap. Oh, excuse me. Mortar on the field for Giap. At about 11 minutes. Try and bleed his opponent's manpower. And similarly, Paul thought this was a good time to go pack howitzers, so they're both getting out indirect fire solutions. Yeah, they compare with each other. Disney Frozen Freefall Snowball fight? Whoa!
Crowds are sniffing around our asses.
That sounds like a really awesome game. Check it out, you guys. They're my sponsor. Oh no! Oh man, he totally misjudged where they were standing. I thought that was a wipe for sure. They were so clumped. He just placed that slightly wrong. Ooh. Oh, that Stuart's gonna go down. There it goes. Sniped by the AT gun at range. Nicely positioned AT gun. Stuart took engine damage and had no hope of escape. Pack howitzer is setting up in a more aggressive position. Maybe he can start bleeding these infantry. Wow, looks like the suppression radius on this is quite large. It didn't even look like it landed that close to those pyros. Look at that. That didn't even look like it damaged those pyros. He got suppressed anyway. I killed a pyro and didn't suppress them at all. I don't understand how this works. And they just got pinned. Suppression on this seems pretty good. Did it get better, or I don't know what exactly is happening there. Ooh, that was a good shot.
Suffering losses.
I don't know if I think the pack howitzer needs any buffs. What's off life? It looks like it's doing pretty good. Just wiped that squad. Oh, there's a wipe in return from a rifle grenade. This game is getting really heated. Wow, what a meat grinder right there. That was just nasty on both sides. More riflemen on their way to the front line. Forward retreat point has been set up for Paul, which will enable him to get back into those engagements very quickly. He still does not have smoke. Doing pretty well despite that. White phosphorus deployed to force a retreat from that machine gun, and he will not even bother going that direction. He's happy forcing that retreat and will now shift back towards the south, try and push his opponent out of the victory point and get that triple cap to continue. He still has a huge victory point lead, but he wants to keep up that pressure, that early game pressure. Because that's kind of what Rifle Company is all about. And he's actually getting out a Scott to his opponent's mechanized assault Stube. Which could be interesting. I wonder if he will change his mind about this. Yes, he will. As soon as he sees that, changes his mind. Probably going to get out at Easy 8 or maybe even just a standard Sherman to counter.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Actually, eating soap has been studied. It was like somebody's science project in elementary school. Or no, not elementary. It was like, I don't know, it was some stupid science fair project. But I read about it. They ate hand soap, liquid soap, and like an organic oatmeal-based soap to determine how. I don't know why this person did this, but it is a thing that happened, and the oatmeal soap was apparently not that bad. So there are soaps out there that you can eat without experiencing too much discomfort. So hopefully Barton will shop wisely once we reach that stretch goal. I don't want to like ingest anything too toxic. Flamethrower versus Vanilla Grins up here in the north. Looks like they got in range easily enough. They will have to cross red cover to continue the engagement, but I think Paul will get back control of the north VP. Paul just told me on Steam that he was lagging really badly this game, which is actually not surprising because Giap is Vietnamese and Paul's Chinese living in America, so somebody was going to be lagging this game, no doubt about that. I think Giap is located actually in Vietnam. I don't know. I don't know where he lives. I have no clue. But I think it's extremely likely that they are not geographically close to each other. Rifleman got suppressed by the MG42 there, forced to retreat once again. Still no smoke. I'm surprised, honestly, that Paul has not gone with smoke. He's used a lot of white phosphorus smoke, but that is obviously the much more expensive option. And his pack howitzer's up to 7 kills to his opponent's mortar being up to 1 kill. Wow, that's surprisingly low. There's the Sherman. Sherman finds an MG42 out of position. That will obviously have to retreat. AT gun moving to protect and take out Stugs where appropriate. And there's an AT gun out also. 2 Stugs out for Giap in addition to his 2 AT guns. So this double pack, double Stug build is very reminiscent of metas from days past. Obviously, the Stug E is not nearly as devastating versus U.S. forces as it once was with that much slower rate of fire. Oh, whoa, what happened right here? AT Guns just found a big opportunity against the Sherman, and it is destroyed. I totally missed that happening. Sherman picked up without having much of an impact, and the Stugs are about to dive straight into Paul's base. This might be GG. That Sherman needed not to be destroyed like that. Yeah, Paul is not even going to attempt to recover from this situation that's about to happen, and that's going to be the game. Giap takes it with mechanized assault against Paul's rifle company, and again, Osterre wins against U.S. forces. I think this preconception that Osterre was going to stand no chance against USF may have been unfounded, because Osterre is doing fine versus USF every single game I've cast today. And this was not some weird experimental strategy either. This is tried and true rifle company versus mechanized assault. So, yeah, not sure what I think about that claim. But, of course, it's just one game. Who knows what the future holds. GG. Axis wins.